Hey everyone, thanks for stopping in the garage today, and this is just a quick spring look at some of my machines that I have. Anyway, we're going to just take a quick look at a few of the things that I have laying around and just kind of what I do. And it's early spring. It's the second cut. Today is going to be the second cut for the Jacobson. This will be the first cut for this. We're going to go through this a little bit. And I took some footage previous to this, so I'm going to put that footage in as well. That was actually the very first starts after literally just parking it in the shed at the end of the season. I didn't put stable in it, although I tend to run some stable in my fuels, right? So especially towards the end of the year. Here's another little tip. If you don't want to run it all season because you're using a lot of juice all year, but towards the end of the season, you kind of know. So I start putting a little bit more stable in, and if I forget, it gets really cold, it starts to snow, there's a big rush for snow and snow blowers and everything, then it's in there, right? So we'll be back in a little bit, and let's have some fun. I just gave it a quick rinse. You know, it's not too bad out here, so I think it'd be while I have the hose, right? Looks good. I like that's what I like about like sort of the natural look. This was hit with a little bit of clear, and I can hit it with a little bit more clear when it dries. So a little soapy water, a little rag action. I'll put a little more rag action on it. Blow it with the air compressor. Let's get it started and run it a little bit longer. And I want to find out. I took the cover off and replaced the filter because the filter wasn't that good. It was probably whatever I had at the time. So I'll put a little clear coat on that. So this is choke off, this is choke on, and I think this is like an extra speed control, you know, high and low. If that's something that you really need, I don't think so. Just get some of the dust off, and you know, a good dust off. Early spring, late winter, I don't know, it's middle of January. This is what I do. All right, so this way I can put it back away. Checked the oil last night. You know, it's a couple years old, but it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, it's just older. Does it make it bad? Not really. It's good oil. It'll be fine, right? It's not going to get used, so hopefully. But if it does, I can always change the oil then. All right, let's fire it up. Let's see what it does. All right, so fuel is on. Let's see, so fuel's on, switch is actually on, choke is on. I don't know if that's high or low. Let's give it a pull. Yeah. Now what's this? Oh, there we go. That's high. Nice. Let's let it warm up. Okay guys, the fuel just ran out of it. Another little cool thing about this old unit is it has the carb drain down here. It's a little screw. So what I'll do now is I'll pull this hose off and bolt the tank back down properly. Just give it a quick wipe. I'll spray a little WD or Croil down into the carburetor. And that's it. We'll reconnect it. And she's ready to go. It's nice and warm. It's dry. I just splashed some soapy water over it, rinse with the hose, give it a quick ragging. Put a little bit of two-stroke in the gas and a little lacquer thinner. Lacquer thinner will help pull out any water I might have got in there. It'll also help clean carbon off. Two-stroke will leave a little bit of a coating and help lubricate top side. And then just put it away again. It's ready for emergency. So I'm pretty happy with this. I'll probably throw a little bit of clear in a few spots, right? You see a little bit of oxidation, so just give it another quick coat of clear when she cools off. just fast. Nothing fancy.
2,000 years later.
All right, I just dug out my Honda. This actually is not the Honda I bought. That's in the shed, but they both came from Lopers, which is around the corner for me. It's really filthy. I used it for a fall cleanup. I think we should rinse it. Before I use it today. I mean, it's just filthy as hell. Maybe blow out the air filter. And this guy, I keep thinking about selling it. Jacobson Homelight. Start it right up. We'll run it in a little bit. Start it right up. I didn't do anything. I didn't even turn the petcock off. I just let it. Just pulled it in and drove it into the shed and forgot about it. Perfect. That's how Arch takes care of his stuff. Remember, guys, never turn it towards the air filter. Always turn it away. Oh, I'm going to hit the other machine. You can't see it. There you go. Now you can see it. It's actually really clean. Let's just give it a rinse. I try to keep it good. And then what I'd like to do is pull off the wheels. Maybe bring it in real quick after I rinse it and put some chain wax into the gear system and everything, because that keeps it nice. So, all right, it has some fuel in it. It's got plenty in there. It's like full. That's from last year. I'm just going to pour a little bit of lacquer thinner in that. Just a little bit. Some nondescript amount. That'll do it. All right, that'll help clean out any gum that's in there. And I'll cut my lawn. I gotta check the oil. Let's see what the oil looks like. It's pretty clean. I just blew off the air cleaner. I gotta put that back. Oil I did last year, probably at the beginning of the year. That's clean. Looks good. Let me get a reading on it, but it looks pretty clean, right? We don't need to do that yet. We'll see. Let's see what it does. Let me taste it. The air filter's perfect. I just blew it out with compressed air. Blew the rest of the machine off with compressed air. You could have just done it all with compressed air, but I wanted to give it a wash. Wash really good in the areas back here where the drive system is and the height adjustment. That's what goes bad. Dirt gets stuck in there and travels inward. Then you notice it too, is if you can't adjust, if you're having a hard time adjusting your adjusters, the next thing is you can't roll it backwards. So far that should be okay. But we got the fuel on. I'm gonna set it to mulch. And the batteries on these things are terrible. The battery charge that they give you, it's just not enough. So after a couple of months of use, I don't know, maybe they made the batteries better, but you got to get a real battery charger, and if you leave it sit overnight, then it's usually good, but I haven't done that yet. So let's put it to choke. See? That's what it does even after you charge it. That's after sitting. Okay, so we should just be able to pull it. Oh yeah. There we go. Not bad. Perfect. Get it. Good, perfect. That's Honda. Let's let it warm up.
20 minutes later.
Let's see what the tractor oil looks like. This tank I think is full too. So yeah, this tank is full. We're gonna put a little lacquer thinner in that. And let's see what we have now. There's no mount for this dipstick. It's really weird. It's like no positive screw. This oil is bad. This is what I used mostly. Yeah. See, look. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah. Yeah. The Honda's oil is fine. It's time to put fresh in this. Now this was pretty cool. Electric start, but you can pull it. PTO is electric clutch for the blade. It has brake and clutch separate. And what's kind of cool, old school carburetor too on this one, 8 horsepower. I rebuilt this last year, I think it was, and runs really good. It's in great shape. What's cool about it is I put a gel cell battery in, all right, and that started it right away. And this is where the transmission is, up out of the way. Nice gear shifter. Chain drive. The chain's inside, and there is really nothing exposed to the weather or the dirt and the filth. It's very little is underneath, mostly just the belt. The disc brake is in there too. I don't know if you can see it. It's down in here. It's down in this area. This is where the disc brake is. It's really nice shape. We'll clean it up later. It's in perfect shape. We'll check the air pressure in the tires now. Okay, tires are all set. Max 22 PSI for the front. I can't get a reading. I don't know what they are in the back, but I like to set everything about 11 PSI. It's bouncy, you know. Well, anyway, what's kind of cool, it's got the high speed adjustment here, and the idle adjustment is up here, okay, where my index finger is, and then this is your throttle idle, right? Your curb idle. That's with the throttle angle. And then you could tweak it. I mean, it's infinitely adjustable. Old school, I love it. It's just great. Always get this thing running good, no problem. So I keep my stuff in pretty good shape. This is what it looked like as I pulled it out. Let's give it a start. All right, this is the throttle. It used to be over here. Somebody put this nice adjustable here. So this is about full choke. That's about midway. Clutch in, all right, brake on, and that's it. Okay, let's start it, see if it goes. Let's give it a little bit of choke. Brake needs adjustment, I can definitely tell you that. But runs good. I'm going to go cut my lawn now, guys. I'll see you guys in a bit. That's just a quick look. Bob's Garage.
Later.
Doesn't it look nice? All I did was just use it, and then I blew it off with the air compressor. Because I keep it clean, so get in underneath here, because this stuff gets stuck. You know, nothing crazy, just blew it off with some compressed air. We'll wash it next time, and I'll do the oil on it. But I got my cut in, so I'm going to put this thing away, and let's just take a look at the next thing real fast. Yeah.
A few moments later.
All right, I didn't even put fresh gas in. There was gas in there. I just added some of fresh gas. But let's see. All right, a couple of pushes. The bulb's getting a little stiff. It's working. It's getting a little stiff though. And set it to choke. Is that choke? I think so. I don't know. I can't tell. All right, it's on. And like this is like the wrong hand pull. I hate that. It's aiming the wrong way. Yeah, the mix is a little smoky. I'm going to add just a little bit of regular gas in there, and that should cheer it up a little. I'll be back. Yeah, they. Sat all year. I'm so bad.
Eventually.
All right, we're going to see if we can fix that. It's So I just warmed it up a little bit. And I'm just going to let it drain out. But you see the mess it's making? So what I did was I just brought it up on the ramp here. It's on an angle, so it's a little drained to the back. And we can see if I can find some, 1/8 pipe nipples or whatever. I should have stuff. And just let that drain for a while, though. Boy, is that a lot easier. Alright, I'm going to take care of this. Yep, next. Blade's back up, nice and sharp. Right, no issues. So that's done. Let's take a look. I got that cord out. So let's take a look at a few other things. I'm going to spray a little bit of chain wax on a few spots. Alright. Just a couple of spots. Pivot point here, a few other spots. Also here too, these bushings, they don't seem to have any other grease type fitting, so I don't want to get in there. And I think I'm going to raise the pressure up on these tires just a little bit. They have a pretty high pressure rating. I think it was like 20 something pounds, and I think I set it to 14, or 11 or something. So I'm just going to check that real quick. I checked it the other day, but I'm just going to take another peek at it while it's here. I went from, this is quarter, and this is 8, right? I'm pretty sure, yeah. So I just took it from here with a brass to a reducer to an elbow, brass, and then this came off of one of the other Briggs engines, and with the cap, right? And let's bend it down this way. Now, you could bend it down all the way if you don't want to hit anything. There's a muffler there, and I think it's pretty good. The concern with stuff like this is that if you hit something, you could snap it in the block. But I think more likely you would snap it here by reducing it down. You make this joint weaker. This being brass, this is steel, that's brass. So even if it did break, you have the chance that these are soft materials. This is the only real hard material. This is much softer, but it's much bigger. Anyway, I think it's pretty good, right? It won't make the mess it's making. So we got to get underneath a little bit. I think I'm done with this for tonight. There's nothing else to really do to it. I got to put oil in it. That works. Alright guys, so I like to use the 4.5 inch grinder with the flapper disc on it, right? You could use the hard, abrasive, the stone, but I think this works better. Anything between 40 and 100 grit, something coarse, okay? I want you to see in there. I'm just going to grab my chain wax. I'm just going to put a little bit up here, right in that area there. There is a pinion, like a ball type thing down in there. Don't worry about getting it on the belt, a little bit on the spring. And there is a bearing in here. Just clean that off. This whole thing sort of slides. So I try to keep that clean. I did the blades real quick, like with the grinder. I make them sharp, and then sharp as a knife, and then I just drive right over the top just to dull them, because they'll chip, so it's hardened steel. And then I also dress from behind. All right, and then I just kind of go over. That's what I like about the flappers, because I can kind of go over the whole thing, clean the blade up. And I also put a little bit of anti-seize on. All right, so some of you ask, well, which way does it go? Which way does the blade go? Well, the blade has a bevel, so follow the bevel when you're sharpening. And that always goes up towards the deck, right? And then, of course, the wing, right, it goes towards the deck, because if you put it this way, the first thing that would hit the ground would be the wing, and you're going to get a lousy cut, and you'll have no lift. So, and I people do that, right? I remember when I first started, when I was younger, I was like, which way does this go, right? Well, you just got to think about what's happening. What is the blade trying to do? And then I'm trying to pull off any debris. Here's a stick. We don't want that stuck in there. These things, they all move. These baffles move. So, and I'm going to use now. Just tighten it. There's really no spec that I care about. So I'm just going to put my impact gun on the lowest setting. And since I'm using a little bit less air pressure, I'll move up the setting a little bit. Because my high pressure hose is actually running a lift right now. And that's it, okay? Let me just move out of the way. And now, last step is, now sometimes I have to move the machine around a lot, but I want to, on the Hondas, these things get just so beat up. And I'm just trying to get into all of the pivot points, and particularly the gear, which we'll come back to. There's a spring in here. And there's a shaft that it pulls, the cable pulls on and engage the transmission, so we want to try to get that. You know, I've had it, I cleaned it last year, so it's not too bad. Another spot is all up in here, but we're going to take the wheels off anyway, and we're going to blow in here and blow out any gook. And so we're going to do that next. So just a quickie, that's all I'm going to do for this. Let's put it upright, and we'll get the wheels off in the back, and I got to put some oil in it. And I think that's about all I'm going to do with this one. Now, most of these wheels are held on with either a 9/16 or a 1/2 inch. And so just zip them off. Now, I'm just going to blow it a little bit. I mean, we could flush it, I suppose, but I'm not going to. Now, I'm just going to wipe it with a rag. Grease on it already. Now, one of the things, too, is back in here, it gets jammed in here. Yep, gets stuck in there. It just blew all over me. So you want to get that out. If you do it every 2 years, okay, bit of a messy job. Do it outside if you want. This way you don't make a mess of your shop, your garage, or your patio. And now we're just going to put a little bit of chain wax in here, because this will dry a little bit nicer. Keep it in the through hole there. And then also from back here, I'm going to put a little bit in this pocket there, because there's like bushings here. And so we're 1, 2, 3 in from the back. So you want to make sure that this is going to move. Right? See, they get stuck. So if we can move it to another position. On the Hondas in particular, right? When they start to get stuck back here, because it's two reasons, right? The reason is the dirt, but not only does the dirt get jammed, but the dirt will go in, and then when this can't move, and that starts to happen, this stops moving, and the machine, you can't pull it backwards. All right, so that's it. I'm going to blow this one out. Just go outside, just blow it out real quick. I'll put a little bit of chain wax up in the bearing because it's not a fully sealed bearing. All right, just a little bit. I'll wipe it off. It's sealed, but it's not fully sealed. The chain wax is nice because it goes in like a liquid. It's got that kind of a vehicle. It'll go in nice and deep, and then it'll wax up like a grease. Okay, so that's it. Let me put that back on. I'll put it down where it's nice and level. We'll put some oil in it. Okay, I'm getting ready to do my first cut with this machine, and so that's just a quick look at some of the maintenance just to my machines. They're in pretty good shape. And so I'm going to go cut my lawn and fool around. It's getting a little late, so I'm just going to do a little bit. It's the first cut. Tomorrow's supposed to rain, so I'm not going to get crazy with it. It's not the first cut for my Jacobson, but it's definitely the first cut for this. I'm glad I changed the oil, obviously. When you do the oil on one of these things, you have to kind of put the dipstick in all the way and then take it out and take a look and read it. Depending upon how much oil you get out, I forget what these things take in terms of oil, but depending upon how much oil you get out, that's going to change how much oil you need to put in. So a safe way to do it is to buy a paint mixing cup, right? And I use one over here. Let me show you. This is a 32-ounce paint mixing cup, and it's designed for automotive paints or anything like that, and it's graduated on the side, and it's in milliliters, it's in ounces. So most Briggs motors take about 20 ounces. That would be too much for this. So if you really want to be careful, and sometimes, you know, like I just added a little bit too much on this. So you start off with maybe 14, 15 ounces. put that in there and let it settle, and then take a reading and add a little bit more, and screw it in all the way, and then take it back out. Don't forget to make sure it's tight when you're done, and sneak up on it. Again, that has more to do with how much oil you got out. So if I actually gave you the correct reading, you might actually overfill it, because if you don't get all the oil out, it gets stuck in areas. So it gets up underneath the piston and in some place where it doesn't go, and it will come out the dipstick. So I turn it over and let it drain. That's the easiest way, especially on the machine. It's really the only way, because on machines that are driven, right, that have all these mechanisms underneath, you're not going to be able to get to any kind of drain plug underneath there. So you could suck it out, right? That's another cool thing. You could tilt it on its side and get a suction device. Anyway, that's it for this, guys. I had a lot of fun doing this. I'm going to go, like I said, I'm going to go and just do a little cut and just fool around a little bit and kind of kill the rest of the day, because I actually did some stuff for myself today. Archer's Garage. I'll see you guys later.